Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sail with Sean Banks. Today's topic is going to be continuing on the topic of lead nurturing. The first episode that I did, we talked about newsletters and how you can use that to engage your prospect as you're taking them on a journey through your sales process. Well, now today we're actually going to talk about how you can leverage testimonials and use cases. Now, I want to use this 10 minutes that I have with you today to talk about the difference between the two, between a testimonial and a use case. I definitely want to share with you how you can position it in your sales process. And then I'll also want to give you just a couple of things to watch out for if you're going to leverage testimonials and use cases. So, first and foremost, a testimonial, of course, we all love those. That is when, we have a customer who's used our product or service. They're excited about it. They've seen the positive results. And now that they've seen those results, now it's time for them to share their experience with anybody who is potentially having a similar problem. So one thing I would say is if you're providing a service or a product to a customer currently right now, be sure that as you're servicing them, as they're using your products, that you keep their contact information handy. And if you're meeting with them on a consistent basis, they'll have a referral link that you can give them, something that takes them to your Google My Business page, something that can take them to just a landing spot where they can actually post a testimonial about the product or service that they have gotten from you. No, those testimonials are gold because those customers who is actively using your products and services, they're telling other people who have the same issue that they do about how you can help. And that is the best way. That is the best type of marketing right there that you can use for your business. The second thing that I want to share is use cases. Now, use cases are a little bit different. Um, Use cases actually gives a high level overview of the problem that your customer is facing. You're actually giving them information about, how long they had the problem, what was the root cause, and then you're speaking to how you came in and helped them with their problem. Um, and these are very valuable to have for your business, especially if you're a service-based business or selling a product, because now you can go a little bit deeper into the pain point that that specific customer was having and how it was impacting them. And not only that, you can talk about how you came in and you position your service or product to actually help them alleviate that challenge or pain point that they were having. Now, one thing I want to say about use cases is that a lot of people think that these big corporations, when they share use cases and whatnot, they do it in a lot of different fancy ways, whether it's doing like a Prezi, through a PowerPoint. Look, I know we're all startups. I know we're solopreneurs, we're small business owners, and we don't have a lot of time to like worry about the fanciness of things. So I just want to say, like, if you want to do a use case, no, it can be on a Word document, it can be on a PowerPoint. You can have a landing page dedicated to all the use cases that you solved, all the testimonials that you received. As long as you're able to capture the content effectively and have it resonate with your audience. So, one thing I would say is make sure that you really focus and hone in on the pain points that those customers are having, the impact that it was having to them, and then how you came and solved that problem for them. And then what was the impact afterwards. You really want to paint a vivid picture here of the experience that that customer was facing before you came into the picture. And then you really want to paint a vivid picture of how once they worked with you, once they used your product, once they used your service, what was the impact to their business? Was it that they increased revenue? Was it that they were able to streamline their processes and get things more efficient? Maybe they were able to, I don't know, maybe they were able to expand their business by 25%. However, I would say is make sure that you're vividly painting a picture that a lot of people can actually see in their mindset, in their minds. So that's what I have to say about, use cases and testimonials. Now, where can you use this in your sales process? Honestly, I can tell you right now, you can use it just about anywhere in your sales process. You can use it at the very beginning when you meet a lead. You can use it in discovery call when with a potential lead. You can use it. You can use it during a demo. You can have a customer come on your demo call and actually talk about how good your product or service is. Um, Another big thing though, where you want to leverage it is when you're moving from sales stage to sales stage and you have a gap between when you're going to meet where you're going to meet that prospect again to talk about your products and services. No, in between, like while you're waiting to have that discovery call or that demo, that's where I would position those testimonials and use cases. Through an email, through a newsletter, and there goes that word newsletter again. You can talk about and share those testimonials from your previous customers. You can share those use cases that you've helped those customers with. And it's all it's doing is just increasing the hype about your product and service, especially if you know that what you have to offer is going to help that specific lead. So that's the value of having a testimonial and use case. Again, it's just reinforcing like what you've been telling your leads all along. And now you just have the evidence to back it up and you just want to share it with them. Now, some tips before you go off and start sharing newsletters, testimonials, and use cases. There's some things I want to share with you that make sure that you're very cognizant about before you share. First things first, like I said, you really want to paint a vivid picture about the problem that your customers are having. You want to make sure that you're very detailed as possible. You don't want to be too detailed to where you're losing them, but you want to paint a good picture and kind of get to the point of that problem that that customer was having before you came and how it was negatively impacting their business. So that's the first thing. The second thing is if you're going to do a use case, make sure that you're also, while at the same time painting that picture, you're painting a vivid picture of the rewards of that customer working with you. So again, if you can quantify the negative impact that that customer was facing because of that pain point, and if you can also quantify the impact of how your product or service impacted that business once you solve that pain point for them, that's going to increase the magnitude of like what you're trying to offer a specific product or specific lead. Another thing that I would tell you to be very cognizant about with testimonials is no, if you can have a customer do a video for you that actually have them speaking about the experience they had. Honestly, that's going to do a lot more than just someone writing a Google review on your business page or your Google My Business. Videos speak volumes, and if people can see firsthand the facial expressions, they can feel the excitement, they can hear it in the customer's tonality and their voice through a video. I'm telling you, they're going to they're going to be pretty much mesmerized. And if that message resonates very well, I think it's really going to create a sweet landing spot for your potential lead to want to do business with you. And then last but not least, um, always have that link ready whenever you want to do a review with a customer or get a testimonial. So if you have a link with the that you can share with a customer or a lead to get a testimonial, make sure that you're sharing with them early and often. Of course, if you're just now offering a product or service to them, don't give them a testimonial link. Like wait for them to actually use the product, wait for them to actually use the service. That way they can have a really good picture of like what they're going to talk about in their testimonial. A lot of people, I see it too often where they have them do testimonials right away, and now you're forcing that customer to speak before they even get a chance to experience it for real. So that being said, just be mindful of when you're sharing your testimonial links. But with that being said, I know I only have a minute left. Just remember the use cases, the testimonials, they're only going to help you get more clients. So get them early and often. Go to your previous customers. Ask them to do a video testimonial, ask them to write you a written one, and use that throughout your sales process. Strategically place it where you know it's going to increase engagement and also hype your products and service up before you get to the next sales stage in your process. With that being said, with 30 seconds left, I just want to say thank you for watching this video. If you have any other additional questions that you have about using use cases, about leveraging newsletters and testimonials, feel free to book a one-on-one with me. My link is in the show notes below, and I look forward to seeing the success that you have. Have a good day.